vacation, Laurie Kilmartin.
Laurie, it's me, Jackie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, we should probably tell that Max Fun's doing their cool October thing. They even have a pun name that nobody needs to hear, but let's tell it anyway. Co-October.
Co-October.
Co-October. Thank you. And for the month of October, Max Funds, they're just celebrating being worker owned, right? They're a worker owned co-op, and they're highlighting other creative co-ops. So they're now in a network of co-opted worker owned co-ops. Can I say the word co-op one more time?
Jackie, I think you just destroyed the workers' co-op. I don't know, that was the most disinterested line reading I've ever heard.
Well, I wanted to make it my own.
Oh, man. Folks, to be a part of the launch crew, listen to me, how excited I am. That helps the co-op get off the ground. Check out the member-exclusive merch you can get for a limited time at MaximumFun.org/co-optober. So Cooptober. Max Fun couldn't have done this without your support, so thank you very much for supporting our show and the network.
And that is all, that last sentence, super true. None of us could do anything without you people who have us in your earbuds.
Correct.
AirPods. Headphones.
I call them earbuds too, and I stopped doing that about the 10th time someone said that was a movie about a dog and not the name of the Apple device that goes in your ear.
Tyson, stop it.
Tyson heard dog and was like, yes.
Yes, you spoke. You have something to say? Well, I'm full of rage at you. At you. Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. Eating popcorn in the green room. The green room, of course, the break room of stand-up comedy at Flappers. There were like 5 headliners, people who have the big time. Right. And I got into a little snipe fest with one of the other comics, and I said to you, and I quote, "Am I being rude?" And you said, "No, I live for this. I live for this shit." And looked around for popcorn.
I guess yes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, here's, it's like I said then, it's like it's a bunch of alphas in a little green room, and everyone's talking, and things got crazy.
Things got crazy. They didn't get that crazy, and I don't know that guy. I barely know that guy, and it's not that he's not a funny comic. He was very funny. He followed me in the first show and followed me in the second show, and I watched the first show. I watched the beginning of the second show, and I was like, oh, he too is doing the same set. I don't need to watch. And, but, I mean, it's funny because I went home and I was very upset. Literally, I was like, this guy that I barely know might not like me. It's
were you really upset? Okay.
Yes. I thought, I was like, how rude was I? And because he had said that he was bored, and I became irritated that because he didn't seem bored. He seemed upset or irritated. Right. And because he told the same story 3 times about how old Biden and Trump and Dianne Feinstein, and he just told it 3 times. And the third time he said it, I was like, yeah, I can't hear you talk about this anymore. And, which of course is rude. Get up and leave, Jackie, if you don't want to hear it anymore. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I do get, whatever. I don't know. It's
but then he said that he was bored, and I was like, and then I accidentally he misunderstood. And this is true. This is going to be a real clock eater, you guys. Cuz here's what I said was he was so mad about how old our representation is. Yeah. And so I was like, well, or it'd be funny if you ended up running for office, because he's probably 40, right? And so he's the perfect age to run for office. And I said it would be nice. It would be right in the middle of like Kyle Cease and Jimmy Dore. And he was like, "Did you just compare me to Kyle Cease?" Which I think is funny that he didn't say Jimmy Dore.
I don't remember this part of the conversation. I must have been scrolling
in your notebook. Yeah, I think you were on Twitter, but Yeah, no, and I said, no, I meant I meant those, it's a line, it's linear. But then I think he did get very irritated with me. And then he said, and this is what truly irritated me, was he said, whenever you complain at all about Biden, giant Biden supporters get really, really upset about it. And he said, I'm not saying he's not sexy, Jackie. And I was like, wait, did you? And literally my head exploded. And all I could think was, did you imply that that's why I vote for people, is because I find them sexy? And are you also saying that I'm finding an 80-year-old public servant who, by the way, Brandon did a real good job. Him and his team avoided shutdown this week.
Sure. Yeah.
So the old guy's got a couple of chops left, and
that would be more the Democrats in the House. But yeah.
Well, if we're going to blame him for stuff, I'm going to credit him for stuff,
sure.
right?
You know what? Yes, exactly.
Right.
And, I don't want to get on this either. You're still ready to attack.
I'm ready to attack you, who did not have my back on this. You were just like, no, go, and so it was very funny.
Well, that's
it's over now.
Your back, cheering you on, saying go deeper.
Yes,
harder,
I too,
leaner.
Jackie. I'm also bored. Perform for me, monkey alphas.
Well,
yes.
I also noticed a bunch of us were, because the guy you're talking about, who I've known for a long time, Barry guy, funny guy, I like him a lot. Yeah. He and his wife are house hunting, and so we're all just talking about, I'm obsessed with how ridiculous the housing prices are right now. Like I go on Redfin now to look at these piece of shit houses that the mortgage, because the interest rate is so high, like the mortgage on these 3-bedroom 1-baths is like $8,000. That's how much you have to pay every month. Who has that like it's astonishing, right? I'm like, this can't last. So
the people that have that are clearly just ripping it down and
no
starting over.
I don't know. I think some people are just giving up. And
I was sympathetic to him too, because he also has a 9-month-old baby. He probably hasn't slept in 9 months. So that's why I went home and I was beating myself up, going, oh my God, I was such an asshole. Because I also tried to shake his hand before he went on stage, and he shook my hand off. He wouldn't shake my hand.
Oh, all right. I missed some of this stuff. All right.
Oh no, yeah, you weren't there for, the one-on-one nonsense.
I will say though, in that green room, also there was a younger comic who's sitting like next to the bathroom, who was not participating in the housing conversation at all, and I'm like, oh, you probably fucking just. This guy, he's like early in his comedy career and listening to these old dinosaurs complain that it's too expensive to buy a house. And he's probably like, I'm going to kill them. I live with my mother.
Right. But I don't think he does, because he was on a Disney Channel show. And
no, it's not that guy. It's the other.
The other guy, the even younger guy.
Yes.
Because the Disney Channel. Yeah, the Disney Channel show was Joey, Joey was like, I keep meeting these comics who knew me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and they treat me like I'm 11 or 14. And I'm like, dude, I'm 28. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
11, as far as I'm concerned. Unless you're 50, you're 11. But yeah, Joey, he was also because he was on Disney, he was participating in that conversation. It was a very, to me, it struck me as a class divide a little bit in the green room for a while. It was interesting.
Right. And what was weird is that Andy bought this house at the previous height of the market, but it was probably almost 20 years ago. And so we're 20 years into it, and the fact that it's supposedly worth like $1 million is insane. Except for that, we and we couldn't move, because where would we move? Because even rent is $3,000 a month, right?
Yeah. No, it's they call it the golden handcuffs a little bit. Like, you're in a great situation, but if you leave, you're fucked. So you can't
Right.
actually take advantage of the money that you have in your equity piggy bank. Yes.
Powerball's over $1 billion for Monday.
Oh, I
this
know.
day.
In fact, I just checked my Mega Millions. I didn't win. Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Really?
Yes.
I've never played. Somebody was telling me about it this morning, and I was like, so do I have to pick the numbers or will they pick the numbers? And they're like, there's a quick pick.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll go buy one. How funny would it be if I won? That'd be funny if I bought one
I wouldn't
ticket.
be laughing. I would be furious. Furious. No offense.
But it's supposed to be over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid. It should be like $100 million winners or whatever equals $1 billion. It shouldn't be whatever.
One person winning $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking into a Jackie and Laurie tour. Remember that one that we did a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
In Bend and Eugene.
Yeah.
I was thinking that and Coeur d'Alene we could perform in between the white supremacists.
Coeur d'Alene, yeah.
Coeur d'Alene.
That's a tough one. How about Boise instead?
Idaho?
Yeah.
Because
Coeur d'Alene's also Idaho.
Well, yeah, but Coeur d'Alene is right by Spokane.
So.
And we have good numbers in Spokane.
Oh, we do? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Do you think
so? And it's only 30 minutes. Yeah.
Will they cross state lines into enemy territory, Spokaners?
I don't know. Please email me, Jackie@JackieCasher.com.
So Saturday, I was able to, or Friday, the night at Flappers, I was able to do my Feinstein joke.
Yeah.
Finally.
Finally.
It was incredibly topical. And
couldn't have been more topical.
We said goodbye to that old lady.
Right. Not a career cut tragically short. So 90, time to get out of the way. And I think she had a great life.
She had a wealthy life. I think she had some incredible experiences.
More than once in the last weekend have mentioned that she has a house in Tahoe.
Well, it's enraging. The one thing I would love more than anything is a house in Tahoe. This old lady had a gigantic house in Tahoe. She never used it. She died at work in DC when she had a house in Tahoe. Like, that's no way to live. Why do houses in Tahoe go to people who don't use them?
I've only been to Tahoe once. It seems fine. What's so great about it? Is it?
I'm not telling you. I don't want you there. I don't want anyone living there.
Yes.
Leave it alone. It's a dump.
It's a dump. Don't do it. I did the weird show there, the improv show. Did you ever do the improv there?
Well, I worked the improv there. Yeah. It closed, but yeah.
That's the one time I worked it, and it was some sort of weird co-headline with Graham Elwood. And he was mad that he wasn't headlining. I was confused that I wasn't headlining.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I just talked to the booker and they said, well, you're both being paid headline money. And I said, oh, then I don't care. Do I get to do the same amount of, I mean, we did 30s and casinos are usually 30s anyway. And it was in a casino.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter to me, but I didn't have a car. Like I think I flew to Reno and got a ride from the club. So I was trapped at that hotel. So I didn't really see Tahoe.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. And they refused to rent cars in Tahoe. So you really had no options. I understand, Jackie.
Oh, really?
No. Why didn't you rent a car? You're in Tahoe. You didn't want to drive around a fucking lake? It's beautiful.
No, I didn't want to drive around a fucking lake. I almost never want to, quite honestly. Yeah, I don't know. I've decided that I need to use my Chase Sapphire points because there's been like this big change in Delta. So I looked at both of my credit cards that I pay a large yearly stipend, a large amount of money. And I'm like, am I using these points? And I hadn't been using the Sapphire points, Sapphire Chase. And it turns out I've just rented 3 cars for free in 3 different towns in my upcoming gigs.
Ooh.
And so that'll be great.
That will be great. I'm in Cincinnati the 13th through the 15th. One day too long to be without a car. If it was a Friday, Saturday, I could just suck it up in the hotel. but it's too many days. And but the cars were, when I was checking, they were 70 a day.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if day of is a little cheaper. It might be,
It might be. And then otherwise you could just suck it up and get, an Uber around.
Yeah, I could
Lyft.
just lift to a few places. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
I just picked up a weekend or a week in Denver again at the Comedy Works in January. So I
I
should
sent
get
her
a
cold
car.
email. I said,
Okay.
"Hi, I want to come back." Basically, that was it.
Good. I
Guess
think
what?
that's fair enough. Yeah.
Guess what? Heard nothing.
Well, yes, it is. I think I did the same. I think the Lowell guy. I think I asked. I asked
In
for.
Arkansas.
Yeah, I asked for. It wasn't that much money, but either I've shocked him with asking for for actual money because I need the money because there's nowhere to fly in that doesn't have that isn't very expensive, and I would definitely need a car, and I would
Yeah.
definitely need a hotel because
Of course, Jackie.
his condo is an A-frame in the woods in Arkansas without Wi-Fi.
No.
Right.
It's a murder scene.
Right. I don't
Yeah.
need that. That's
No.
too much, right? So I
Well,
did so many shows this week though.
I did quite a few too. And we were on two shows together. We were on Joey Bragg's show at the Crow, and that was fun. It was
Right.
that crowd was a little tight.
They were a little tight. It was
Yeah.
weird.
And then the Flappers, of course, were fun shows. And
And tonight we're doing Bellflower this Sunday. We're both going to
doing
Bellflower.
a benefit in Bellflower, so that'll be.
Do you want to carpool? I don't. My family.
Why do you ask and then say you don't want to do it?
Well, because if you wanted to, I would stuff my feelings and we would do it.
Do you wonder why comedians don't want to shake your hand after a fight? Would you say, "Hey, I don't want to shake your hand," and then offer him your hand? Of course not.
My feelings are hurt. You're not wrong. But yeah, I picked up a set last night at the Improv, and then I did Stories. I did the Good Heroin show at Stories LA.
Ooh.
Coming in hot, hilariously. So fast, my new driving bit it made even more sense. And
you pull up and screech and then run into the back.
Well, they held a parking spot for me at the back, and Rob Hayes was hosting. Do you know Rob?
Yeah.
Or you've probably met him. But he's he's great. We did the Nebraska Johnny Carson Eddie Brill thing together.
Okay.
And it was the year that Eddie Brill was casting us as family members, and we had the same family that was hosting our weekend. So they drove us around, Rob and I.
Casting you as family members. What do you mean?
Yeah. That town that Johnny Carson is from had a festival that Eddie Brill. No, not North Platte.
Oh, it's not?
No, it isn't. North Platte is something else.
Do you remember all of his North Platte, Nebraska jokes?
I used to have a North Platte, Nebraska joke, and Comedy
right.
Central removed the punchline.
So,
very sad. So I sound like a maniac. I bet you Osama bin Laden lives there, and we should bomb it. Smash cut to something about food. Anyway, it didn't make any sense.
Crime. No.
But Rob Hayes and I, they assigned like sort of local families, local couples to two comics each.
Okay.
And so we had this very nice couple who were our local family. And so Rob and I are essentially Nebraska siblings. And
gotcha.
So that's how he introduced me last night. And
that's sweet.
And he got a haircut. So I was like, "Oh, it's Rob Hayes." So I was psyched because he introduced me like that.
I'm glad you get along with one comic in Los Angeles. Now, 7 million more. You slowly need to rebuild your friendships.
I like that Laurie has turned this into that Jackie has taken on LA comics. And so.
What, me? Hyperbole? Come on.
My enemies list.
Yes.
So
First of all, I got the vaccine yesterday. I got the Pfizer.
oh, I went to get it and it was not possible.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah.
I've been holding out for Novavax, but
Yeah.
I don't know when it's dropping, and I want to get this in me before I go to New York City this
Yep.
weekend. I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday, so I didn't want to be unvaxxed in New York right now because they're having a lot of COVID. So I was like, all
And
right,
flooding. Was there flooding in your
no
apartment?
no.
Okay.
Harlan's up a little higher, you know.
Okay.
No, that was all Brooklyn you were seeing. That was shocking.
Mike Kaplan just moved into a basement apartment in Brooklyn about a month or 2 months ago, and he was flooded out. Yep. Yep. Mike Kaplan.
Bad.
Yep.
That's
Go buy
really
his
bad.
albums. Okay.
Well, also it's like this happened during Hurricane Sandy. So we know it's going to happen again and again and again. So let's fix it or not, or just let people be flooded out every year. What the fuck? What's the plan?
Well,
the plan
London,
here?
remember when London built that big breaker around they built, this is probably a decade or two decades ago.
I don't keep up with London's breaker systems, but yes, no.
Well, it's a large coastal city and they knew about climate change. And so they
Right.
built a large breaker and it is helpful. And so New York might want to look into that.
We need that and the subway system and that's all over 100 years old. The plumbing, the sewer system, the subway system, and it needs to be retrofitted or fixed or something. Again, I'm speaking out of my expertise. All I saw was video of walls leaking, subway walls leaking water. Like it was sprouting. Like they had 15 holes in it. You know, it's like it looks like a colander. It's really bad.
Oof.
So,
that.
But Jackie, the good news is. The writer's strike is over.
It's true. I picketed on Wednesday, my 4th time. Nobody get me a parade.
No.
Because I was like, oh, the writers were really holding up, I thought, a big portion of this. And so I went and picketed over at Disney. But I lasted like an hour and a half. I went
it's hard.
A little less than 3 miles because it's a mile square.
Yeah. 3 is good around Disney. I mean, that's fine. 3 to 4, I think, is a good
I think 4 would have done it, and but it had been a while, so yeah.
No, I know you can. I mean, my knees are better now, but I think early on I was doing 4 hours on pure concrete, and I was literally bedridden the next day, and I would have to go every other. Now I started short when the days got shorter and the shifts got shorter. I adjusted and was like maybe after 2 hours at max, and I didn't need to. I didn't need massive amounts of rehab.
So and today, which will be the Monday, they're meeting. SAG is meeting with
the AMPTP. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Writers Guild got so much, like almost everything we wanted, and it feels like the profession is set for a couple years to like incorporate new stuff. You know,
yeah.
Did you know that what happened was during the 08 strike, you know, streaming was just starting and the studios were like, oh, well, we don't know what it is. And the guild's like, all right, we don't know either. So no one really said any streaming laws or streaming rules or anything like that.
Right.
And then we signed the contract and the next day they announced Hulu. So the studios knew exactly what streaming was going to be. They didn't tell us and we didn't think ahead. Enough, right? So this time the studios are trying to do that with AI, and we had some real hard asses going, no, we're gonna troubleshoot and take this out 10 years and see what it is you're trying to do and how you're trying to screw us, and we're gonna stop that from happening. And that's what they did.
That's so great. I mean, it's because the thing, you don't know how AI is going to be used, right? But you know that you're going to use it. How about that?
Yeah.
And so whatever you're doing,
it won't replace writers. So my hope is that SAG seems to have. I was a little hesitant with Fran Drescher. I thought she came out really hard when I was like, oh, that's great. She surprised me. Happy about that. And I think having had the writers had such a strong contract, I think that really can embolden the negotiators for SAG. They actually have more complicated stuff with AI and people, licensing likenesses of actors to use indefinitely and all that kind of stuff. That they have to stop. They have to stop it.
Right.
But there's be no point in not negotiating and signing the actors when you've got the writers ready to go. So
yeah, so it should be relatively quick. It should be pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's such a waste of money and time. 5 months of a lot of people having no income, and this, of course, I haven't gotten a pedicure in like 3 months. Like this ripples out. I mean, my feet look like hell, Jackie.
Right,
it
and
ripples
so
out to all the service industries where you're counting on people that have jobs to get your services.
Right.
So
right, and Drew Carey can't buy you lunch forever. So
what a guy. He apparently spent $500,000 on lunches for anyone with a Writers Guild card at Bob's Big Boy and Swingers. So
yeah,
incredible.
$500,000. Yeah, that's
Incredible.
yes, it was. I was there with Foley, and the guy didn't even ask me for mine.
Oh,
but
nice. Yeah,
it seems
he assumed you're a writer.
Yes, well, I'm dressed like one. So, but the what I said, I'm just in SAG, and he goes, oh, okay, so you want to pay? And I said, I do want to pay.
That's nice.
Because that felt Drew Carey doesn't. The only writing job I ever had was for Drew Carey.
Oh,
Remember that story?
Mm-hmm,
With it was with Dave. Who's the fuck? Gareth
Reynolds, Dave Anthony.
Yeah, Dave Anthony. It was with Dave Anthony and Blanket Patch.
Okay.
And trying to make
fun.
and it was trying to make The Price is Right funny. Turns out not possible. Or at least it wasn't possible for us that week. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So anyway, the strike is done. So that's good. I will be picketing this week too with SAG.
There were plenty of SAG WGA supporters out when I was there. It was really nice.
Yeah, if you're in the guild and you wear your blue shirt, I mean, all the SAG people do is thank you. That's what we were doing to them when they showed up for us.
Yeah,
we were so lonely,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's nice. It's cool.
It's nice, right? And there's special placards that say WGA supports.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
I'm in SAG, but I prefer the glamour of being thanked by someone from SAG than actually being in SAG.
Wow, I take it you're not on any sort of LA Comics enemies list. So yeah, because
who knows?
Yep.
I don't
know.
So
last night at the Improv before my LA before the Stories LA set.
Yeah.
So it was. Oh, shoot. Sarah Tiana? What the heck is her last name?
Sarah Tiana. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it. So freaking funny. She's been a comic of the week.
Yeah.
And just smart and interesting and stuff just about
She has a great voice too. I like her voice, the sound of her voice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was sitting in where the comics kind of sit, and that big booth had people in it, and Sarah's from the South, and it turns out 2 of them were from the South. So after she got off, and I said, "Great set," and then she goes away. The one of the women in that booth was like, "Do you know her? Can you tell her that I'm from Miss Tennessee?" And I was like, "If I run into her and recognize her, yes, I'll do that." It's I look forward to meeting her again. And then it was Orny Adams.
Yeah.
Who he literally said on stage that he was like, "Do you want to touch a famous person?" And the guy in the audience was like, "I know who you are." And he goes, "Do you really?" And and then Pete Holmes went up.
Mm-hmm.
And Pete Holmes, at one point, very funny new bit about evolution that was very funny. In the middle of it, he goes, "Tell me you guys are all so high," right? And but it was so well crafted. It was a very well crafted bit about fish getting legs. Anyway, so
right. I like it.
Yeah, and but he said at one point he was telling us he went over, which was annoying because I had to get to the other gig.
Mm-hmm.
But he was telling this story, and he said this is a true story. I mean, it may not be emotionally true, but
oh shit. Was that just a comics only laugh?
And like and the guy who knew who Audrey Adams was.
Oh, that's right.
Because he's a huge comedy fan.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder what the repercussions, if any, will be. Besides, it seems
absolutely
like
none.
The Daily Show. Yeah, that'll be.
Yeah, he probably doesn't get the. Was he due for the Daily Show though? Was he the one?
I think.
Or was
he
just in the running
around him? I think they were circling around him. I really do. That's the rumor I heard. So I don't know. We'll see.
I have 3 words for you: Roy Wood Jr.
Yeah,
that would be the best. I mean, Samantha Bee would be the best, but Roy Wood Jr., please.
Yeah, she would be great. She did have a show. She may not want to take over a show,
Yeah.
A daily show, because she had a weekly.
Right.
But yeah, Roy would be incredible. He would be incredible.
Yep.
He's a great choice, which makes me think, oh, they're not going to.
Yep.
But you know what? But they who knows? And I don't want to discount whoever they pick. If it's not Roy, it could be someone who does a great job. We just aren't as aware of them as we are of Roy. So, Jackie, I was going to say I was holding out for Novavax, and it hasn't come out yet. So I pulled the plug and I pulled the trigger. Sorry, and I got Pfizer. My arm's a little sore, but I feel okay.
Okay, well, we were going to go get flu shots and Pfizer if they had it at Kaiser, Pfizer at Kaiser, and the line was too long, so we're going to go tomorrow morning early, and at least get the flu shots. You're supposed to do. They have some. They said that they had some Pfizer at where we go, but what happened was I went to the doctor to check out my throat, and because I have this weird scratchy throat, and so I have all these different symptoms, and I'm sitting down, and I didn't get to see my primary care physician. I just saw some guy who I freaking loved. I was like, hey, can I switch to you as my? And he said, I'm leaving Kaiser in 2 months and starting my own practice. I've been here for 12 years. And I said, oh, well, you've done your part. And so but he was actually really, he was like, well, I think it might be allergies, because he looked at all of my parts and he's like, I think that it is allergies. So I'm going to give you allergy medicine. And do you think could it be stress? Has anything happened in the last year? And
Jackie, has anything happened? Has your situation at home changed at all in the last year in a way that some people would think is stressful?
What I said was, oh, you know what? My mom-in-law moved in and she has a cat, and I might be allergic to the cat. And he said, let's back up. Your mom-in-law moved in. And he was like, yeah, I think this might be stress, and there might be other, like, you have to do something. Like, have you thought about therapy or whatever? And I was like, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I have therapy.
Is your voice being harmed? Like, it's not, your voice sounds scratchy. I like it. Is it bad for your vocal cords to have that sound, or is it?
It's gotta be. It can't be good. And if it gets worse, it's going to be really bad. Like, it will be hard.
Does it hurt to talk?
It's super dry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not good then.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if your voice is getting sexier, why fight it, Jackie?
Well, as we all know, I'm attracted to Joe Biden, and that's why I voted for him. That's the only thing that genuinely made me mad. And the Kyle Cease thing, I think, was the thing that made him mad. But
gotcha.
Other than that,
you guys were that was vicious
by definition. And it was literally like as angry as I used to get. It was just a tiny sniping of a conversation. It wasn't even a fight. And so how upset I was about it was like cartoonish. Right. And it shows growth, Laurie. It shows some real growth in me dealing with my temper. So
Yeah, I mean, if that's you at 1%, I continue to be terrified of you. That has not changed. Uh,
no,
one
that's
day
me at
you will go.
99%.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, all
yeah.
right, all right. I thought you had
That's as mad as I
more
get these
reserves.
days.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I can handle that. That's
Oh
why we
yeah.
use podcast twice at least per pod.
Hey, speaking of which, let's take a break
Okay.
and let's do comic of the week.
Comic of the week is
Yeah, Audrey. And
Audrey Stewart. Did you forget her last name?
I did, and I was looking in the chat. But yeah,
Stewart.
Audrey Stewart, she hosted last night and was super funny.
Yeah,
She was so funny. She did a lot of new material, she told me afterwards, and a little bit of crowd work, just a tiny bit because she was hosting.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because it was about her sex life, but it wasn't, it was just really funny and interesting. And then I, of course, did my weird poop joke. And
Jackie, you have a poop closer, and I never thought I'd say that about you, but you do.
Yeah, me neither. You should both everybody else talked about poop before me at the Improv, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this isn't that unique for me to mention bodily functions, which I've never mentioned really on stage. And it's
not.
And it's I wouldn't say it's a classy poop joke, but it is not graphic.
I like it. It's not graphic, and it's a marital poop joke, which
it's just a story about being married.
Christian, yes. Which I appreciate as a Christian, as you know. The Lord is important to me.
Oh my God,
Audrey's great. Her Instagram is Audrey Stew is Art. Okay, so Stew is STEW, and then IS is Art. So it's Stewart, but you put is in between Stew and Art. Got it?
Right, because her name is Audrey Stewart, and I bet you it was taken.
Yes.
So Audrey Stew is Art. Yay!
And Audrey's, Audrey. I love the name Audrey, by the way.
It's a good one.
One of my, if I was gonna have a girl, it was on my list.
All right.
Yeah. Jackie, on Wednesday, I opened for Gary Gallman at Tuesday at Largo.
Oh, fun. So you did Largo this week.
Yeah.
Gary Gallman, full room? How'd he do?
Sold out. And apparently a lot of showbiz people were there. I'm glad I didn't, I kind of went into a room to just go over my shit because I was like, oh, this is getting high profile. When I saw some people backstage, I was like, okay, let me just, just
focus on your set.
Jokes. Yeah.
Yep.
I was just doing 15 up front, and great crowd. It was a fun set, and he did like a little over an hour. I love what he does. He'll go. It's 8:25 now. The show's gonna go till 9:40. Like he does it all the time, just to let the audience know what the end point is, and then he ended right. Exactly when he says it's gonna end.
Oh, nice.
Which is great because I think people probably are sometimes like, how long is this going to go, right? When they think the show's ending and the comic keeps going, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's polite. I might do that.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
oh wait, did he trademark it? Can I not?
It might be a bit of his. I'm not sure.
Okay.
If you codify it, I don't really know. I'm just letting you know. I really like that. I thought it was funny.
Okay.
He had a funny way of doing it.
Okay.
He had a little chunklet.
Oh, mine would just be a PSA.
Right. And then he just has some really long, well done stories with tons of punchlines, and some of them are about his childhood, and some of them go off about religion and stuff I hadn't heard or occurred to me before. Especially hard with any sort of religion jokes to find something new, and he did. So if he should be on tour. He is on tour. So if he's around, you should find him because he's really, really good. He's a really good storyteller, and he doubles back and circles back and lays little traps, and then makes you follow them later. And he's a great comic and a great guy. Just a nice guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sir, I've never heard him called that, but you're obviously closer to him. So
I thought that was one of his kind of fake nicknames for himself.
Okay.
I don't know.
But Sarah Tiana actually had two great bits that were kind of longish about growing up and not being Christian, but being going to church and stuff. And they were super funny. So if
Oh
you,
wow.
yeah, so maybe religion's back, you guys. We're all doing jokes. Maybe there's good stuff to be mined there.
Oh, that reminds me. I made a note to myself about raising a son without religion, and did I do the right thing? Hold on,
Make
I
a
gotta
note.
continue that thought.
Yep.
So yeah, so that was a really fun show. Had had fun shows in the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah. It was I got to do, cuz I have the sincere, I'm working on a bit. You heard it at the Crow.
Yeah.
It's based on, it's at this point a little too sincere. Nobody needs that. Everybody needs a lot more punchlines if you're gonna come from a place of sincerity.
Right.
And so
Is that
not
about
easy.
America?
Yeah, the America thing.
I love it, but the emotion you're tapping into, people feel.
Yeah.
So you're halfway there.
Yeah, there's something there for sure, right?
Yes.
Because it's fine. But yeah, it's one of these bits that I can tell is going to stop and stutter, and then
Right.
it might take, which is too bad because I was hoping to do a new album in the next year, but it looks like more like 2 years. So that's fine. It's what it's gonna. It's good. It's what it's gonna be.
If we just turn into these little machines that put out albums that in hopes they get played on Sirius so we get money for the material, why wait till you have an hour? Why not just put out half hours? I might just start doing that. As soon as I
or
get
just
another half
tracks.
hour.
Yeah. Some people just do tracks.
Do they need to be part of an album?
No. I think you could maybe do
Single.
I didn't think they did need to be part of an album. They do need to be on a label, I believe. But and then I think that like Mike Kaplan has EPs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, why not just do an EP? I don't know if that's a collection of like 4 or 5 tracks, but why wait till you're so fucking sick of the jokes that you hate them by the time you tell them? I just realized like there's stuff on Corset that I was like, oh, let me just get rid of this bit. But I
got cornered this morning by this woman at a coffee shop, and she was like, "Can I just talk to you for a second?" And I didn't know what it was going to be about, and she wanted to tell me that the gender bit, the they them bit, was just really great, and I was like, "Well, that took 3 years, and I had to." And I would do it, and then people who were gender fluid or knew about gender fluidity more than myself, almost everyone, that's not true, but came up and were like, "I know what you're doing, but you have to sort of course correct a little bit."
Yeah,
and that's what the America bit kind of feels like, And yeah, I'm doing something called a Fable in Eagle Rock this week on Wednesday. So, and then I'm opening.
Just did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm opening for Maria in Torrance on Saturday.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I will be at the Broadway all weekend, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Again, Rich loaded me up, so that's nice. I don't have to waste any cab fare. I'll just be going up and down between the top room and the bottom room.
Okay.
And
nice.
That'll be cool. I'm at Go Bananas in Cincinnati the weekend after, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. People, please come out.
Yeah, Cincinnati. You guys show up.
Let's do it. And you know what? I'm gonna go. So you recommended Virginia. Gave me a place, right, to merch
to make
place that's in
merch?
the Valley, and so they actually have a physical store. So I'm gonna go there either Monday or Tuesday and check out what the things look like that they sell. And before, I don't want to order 50 of something like I've done with Sticker Mule, and then get 50 of them. I go, well, these aren't that nice or whatever,
Right. It would be nice to see a sample. Or are you thinking about doing that thing that I sent you?
Yeah, the travel mug. Yeah. I want to
Yeah,
make sure like the lid closes. I don't want to give someone
right.
sell a leaky leak,
No, you want to sell a nice travel mug, and then
Yeah.
you want to show them kind of and then do you think Jeff Tice will do the art,
I
or
don't
do you
think I
want
need
Andy to do it?
No, I already have that art. I'll just put that on a
No, no,
oh,
no. Not just
what?
the shirt art. Like the color scheme has to be changed.
Does it?
Yeah. If you if you want to sell a lot of them.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Um
Well, I mean, I defer to you
right.
with your
It's
pop-up store you open after every show.
you're not wrong. I'm really looking forward because I am the week after next. I'm doing Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Chicago with Maria, and I am assuming at the end of October that my beanies will do well.
I'm excited. I love it.
And yeah, so
Are we going to bring our beanies to Austin?
to Austin? Maybe. Yeah.
We should.
It depends. We have to talk to Max Fun about that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because where Max Fun is fulfilling our new merch for Jackie and Laurie show, it is it might be print on demand.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should order if we're going to do stuff together on the road.
Yeah.
We should order separately and sell them separately on the road too, right?
Right. Well, if you want to sell the stuff, because those are cool. They're Kills Like a Guy, t-shirt and beanie, knit cap, and we got samples and they look great. So we just have to figure out how Max Fun, because I don't think that they keep any sort of inventory.
Right. I'm saying if we order them separate, are they going to be mad if we order them separately and sell them physically?
We should talk.
Person?
We should talk. Yeah. To them, probably. Let us take.
You to speculate in on our pod.
Let's take another quick break.
Okay.
I have done so many like I did the Will Anderson philosophy.
Oh,
I did that.
Nice.
That was super fun.
Yeah.
And because I'm thinking about going to Australia next April or May. Wow. And that I think would be good. It would be good to help me to publicize that. And then and plus I like Will Anderson. He
I love
is
Will Anderson.
Yeah.
He's so fun and nice and smart and
all the things. And then this week I'm doing Keith and the Girl.
Oh yeah.
For an unknown reason why they've asked me, but sure, I'm back.
I love you. Yeah,
the Dork Forest was a good one this week. It was about anime. You and your son might want to check in. It's essentially the dark side of Studio Ghibli. That's what this guy was talking about. Minister Faust, Canadian author guy. And
because my son was just complaining about MAPPA, Studio MAPPA, and how they make their animation artists sign an NDA because they abuse them so much. I guess I don't know. Then we started talking about workers' rights in Japan and how they you don't see a lot of strikes in Japan because they don't really have them like we kind of do here.
Right. The one that sounded, and I'm going to say it wrong. I think it's Pompoko. I don't think that's the name. Kyle, do you remember the raccoon? Yeah. So it's Studio Ghibli as well, but it's not Miyazaki. It's the other guy. And he did Graveyard of the Fireflies too, which I don't know if you, and Princess Cayuga.
My kid would know it all. I don't,
But they're slightly, the Pompoko seems to be the least sad of the three that he talked about. Yeah. So I'm kind of interested in that. And so but this week I forget. I know. It was with Kevin Goatee, who New Jersey comic. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be talking about 80s action figures on the Dork Forest this week. Wow. 3 of which I saw. 2 of which I didn't. We showed my mom-in-law Galaxy Quest this week. Mm-hmm. She had never seen it. Andy has been using it in his classes because he teaches game design and writing for games. And nobody in his class had ever seen Star Wars Galaxy Quest or Indiana Jones.
Wait, the original Star Wars?
Right. Well, they've
Wow.
seen all of the anime that your son has seen.
Ideal future.
Right.
The real future. And so Andy was like, instead of me trying to find the right anime that will be sort of a perfectly told story, I'm going to make you watch Galaxy Quest. They've never seen The Princess Bride, and there's no reason why they should have. You know, there's 100 years of cinema,
Oh
and
my
they have
God.
their
I
own
know.
overkill of
They
input.
have TikTok. Yeah, they have. Yeah, it's a lot. It's weird to just go, like with late night shows. You know, like my son doesn't really. He watches some Conan sketches. You know,
Yeah.
Winky Bear was his favorite. So he's aware of that stuff. But the kids, you know, like no one talks about late night. It's not on their radar. I mean, that's no surprise, really. It's not on teens' radar. The genre of late night whatsoever, in terms of what, needing to watch someone process the day's news with jokes. Like maybe us and the one generation below, like Kyle's generation, were kind of raised on that. And then these guys are like, they're just out here. They got no religion and they got no late night that's targeted to them.
Do they have SNL? It's no, I think they are watching sort of like they all know who, like, well, 5 years ago I would say that they all knew who Trey Crowder was, right? The redneck.
Teenagers?
5-10 years ago I would say so. Who are now in like their mid-20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I wouldn't like, and now there's some new Trey Crowder that we've never heard of, right? Who's 19 or 20
Sure.
years old
Right.
with some sort of hot take on the and
Yeah.
So like 10 years ago they also knew who David Hogg was, right? The kid from Park.
Yeah, well, that happened
Yeah.
in 2018. So if they knew who he was in 2013,
5 years.
then they
Well,
just went to
5
school with
years
him.
ago.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not getting the numbers right, but thank you for really the minutia correcting me. That's important to
Well,
me.
here's the thing. I know the reason I know when David Hogg became famous is my book Dead People Suck was released on the day of the Parkland shooting, which is why no one promoted it. So Jackie, you accidentally triggered me.
Well, let's look into some therapy for you. I don't know what. It's always interesting talking to somebody who's 13 and finding out what they're watching and what they're seeing.
Oh my God, it's terrifying.
Right.
Some teenage girls sat behind me at a recent water polo game, and I was just like, I please hope they don't see me. Like I was right in front of them, so they did, but the way they were just discussing people and making fun of people, I was like, this is the cruelest thing I've ever heard. I love it. And I hope I am invisible to them. I just want to listen.
John Mulaney joke from probably not 10 years ago, but in my mind, everything happened 10 years ago. And he used to do this joke about 13-year-old kids making fun of him. And he went right back to junior high and how nobody can see exactly what you're less. Like he said, look how thin his wrists are. And he's like, I'm actually very self-conscious about that. And he's got a little shirt. Yeah. It was a great bit.
They're so mean. Oh my
and
God.
Genuinely like nails the thing that he is self-conscious or anyone. Because they're 13. They know things. Yeah. So, we're doing the road. When are you going to New York? Friday?
Yeah.
JetBlue? JetBlue?
Jackie, I'm Mosaic. Did you know now on Mosaic, I get 2 check bags on Mosaic.
Oh, okay. That's real.
That's real. And you can't take that away from me. Once you hit Mosaic, you are Mosaic. This isn't Delta or whatever, startup airline that you're having allegiance to. This is Jet fucking Blue.
Yeah. The thing about it's going to be weird. None of it's going to take effect at Delta till 2025, I'm told. But I'm
I thought the
definitely.
CEO walked some of it back. I thought him saying,
I would not be surprised, just because of if the points guy is mad at you. Yeah.
yeah,
So that guy has too many followers for you not to want to walk some
Yeah.
stuff back.
and that guy likes
And
everyone.
yeah, well, that guy loves Delta. So
Oh, I see. Are we like how many? How
Yeah.
how?
another 5 minutes. I have so many sets I want to do and so much stuff I have to work on. It's a quality problem in stand-up comedy where I have a lot
Yes.
of new material, but it like I can't. That driving chunk is so big right now. I also have this anger chunk that I've decided to
Yeah.
hook up into the made of bees chunk
Yeah,
because it just should
Sure.
go. It should. It was. You
that
remember
makes sense.
months ago when I had an idea for a solo show called Altercation?
Yeah,
I've just decided to incorporate it into my set.
right.
And yeah, because whatever. If I ever go to Edinburgh or whatever it's called,
Edinburgh.
okay, I'll just probably do an hour of stand up, and they will judge me for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you know how they'll judge me? Positively, because I'll be doing stand up comedy and it'll be enjoyable. Yeah,
Oh yes,
but
Scottish people are famously upbeat and positive about their comedy.
I know.
They
I
seem
know
to
I-
hate everything a little bit or a lot.
Well, good for them. I accidentally watched some YouTube video of some guy putting on a kilt, and it was weird because
you
he was
accidentally watched this seemingly pornographic video.
right because he was all pixelated, but he had laid out this tartan forever, and he squoze it, laid down, wrapped it, stood up, flipped his skirt, and then all of a sudden it was a kilt.
I
So
like it.
it was, it was fascinating. But it was I've never been to Scotland. Have you ever been to Scotland?
I did Edinburgh a long time ago.
Oh, did you? What year? When?
2004. Brian Hennigan, who's Doug Stanhope's manager, he got a venue for myself, Stanhope, and James Inman, and we each did like 7 to 10 days. I think.
Oh,
Stanhope
so
may
not
have
the
done-
full.
No, we didn't do the full thing. So I think it was 7 days or 8 days for me. Stayed in Hennigan's condo. He just had a room, and it was incredible. And because he did all the work, I didn't have the actual Edinburgh experience because he did all the work. He got, promo. He filled the room. I didn't have to flyer like I didn't do all that. I just was very luckily was included in
Yeah.
this sort of
Yeah,
prepackaged
that's
thing.
how I would like to go. And I would like to go for a week. I don't want to go for a month. I
month
want.
is a lot.
It's
a lot.
Patrick Sussmilch, comic, Minneapolis, I believe.
Yeah.
He just went
Yeah.
and he did the whole thing, month flyering, watched
Yeah.
people get just drunk and wasted every night, and I'm sure did his share of it, but wasn't, didn't lose his mind. And but to think about spending 7 days in an apartment with James Inman and Doug Stanhope.
Oh no. We weren't all in the apartment together.
Oh,
Like-
I thought it was like you shared the condo.
No. I did 7 days and then I left, and then Stanhope came in and he did
It's good you
his,
got
and then
it first.
Inman came in. So we
Oh.
weren't all there. We weren't.
And you
not
were there-
simultaneously.
And this is just arbitrary sniping. That's why I'm a hit. So it is. Did you go first? Were you the first week?
I don't remember. It was
Because I would want to hose it off. As much as I love James Inman and Doug Stanhope.
Well,
Those guys
guess
are
what?
a lot.
I could do some damage too. Why you got put me in the virgin territory?
Are you
okay?
in Skankfest this weekend? You are not.
I'm not.
I did look at the lineup. There are a lot of women. I look
It
at.
seems fun. It seems like a fun show.
I don't know.
It does. I'm sure the crowds are great, and they're in Vegas.
You get
they're
to
having a
do
good
stand
time.
up, and
What's wrong with that?
Well, I don't know. I just it would be it just festivals for me are like comedy camp, right?
Right.
So they have to be with people that I kind of want to hang out with. It's one of the great things I like about Moon Tower. First of all, I love Austin, Texas.
Hmm.
Second of all, there's usually at least 3 or 4 comics I would like to have lunch with every day for the 4 or 5 days that I'm there. I don't know that I could say that about either Las Vegas or that lineup.
Oh,
So
there's people
There's fun
there
comics.
Yeah.
in the lineup that
Yeah.
you could be that you're friends with, you know.
Yeah.
And there are other people you might become friends with, you know. I don't know.
Well, but in Las Vegas, I've been to Las Vegas twice in the last year,
Yeah.
and it's a lot. And I don't know if Ron Vi wants to hang out with me again and save my life.
That's an hour.
Yeah. Well, okay.